So as part of our manual testing program, we would be covering the below things. Okay. So here we would be covering what is meant by QATA team and what are the other teams that are involved in the IT industry. Next, we would be talking about the manual versus automation and its tools. So we'll talk about the difference between manual testing and an automation testing, and also the tools we would be using for the automation testing and the development tools. So we would be talking about the development tools as well on a high level. And yeah, the other thing we would be discussing it is product based and service based companies. So the difference between the product and service based companies and types of industries we would be working on. Okay, so there are a couple of different industries. I mean, for service based companies or product based companies, you would be encountering these kind of applications. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Next, we would be talking about what is meant by manual testing, why, and all those things. Yeah. So, as part of today's class, we would be discussing these things. So basically, to start off with about QATA development and business teams. Okay. So. So basically, Prasad, in the IT industry, we would be having development team. Okay.
Okay.
So we would be having development teams and the QATA team. QATA is nothing but quality assurance and test automation. So basically, in some IT industries, it is called as QATA team or else QA team or else test team. So all these teams refer to the testing team only. Okay.
Okay.
So instead of QATA team, so quality assurance and test automation, why it has got two names means quality assurance and test automation. Quality assurance team is basically the manual testing team or functional testing team. Okay. And the test automation team is basically uh, the team uh, this team basically consists of the automation engineers. So this is the difference between the quality. So the moment they give the name, right, QATA, collectively it is called as QATA, but still in QATA they would be having different set of groups, okay, which is manual or functional team and the other is automation team. Basically in some
Yep.
industries it is called as QATA team, in some industries test team. So all those refers to the same. The other team which we would be having is the business team. Okay. So basically,
Okay.
this team is called as the BA team. Basically, business team is also called as the BA team. So now we have got that there are three teams actually, three different teams. We would be which would be encountering on a day-to-day basis. Okay. So out of this, every team has each and own responsibilities. Okay. Ultimately, for example, let's say they are working on one of the projects or the product development. Okay. Firstly, they need to have some requirements like how the product should be. For example, let's talk. We have one demo site here. Let's talk about the Arden University site. Okay. So you know that the moment you see ac.uk, okay, it is basically the university which belongs to the United Kingdom. So that is the reason the host name has got UK at its end. So when you see AC, do you know what is meant by AC?
No.
It's basically the academic site.
Okay.
So usually we would be seeing, right, arden.com.in. That means com is a commercial site actually. IN
Mhm.
is nothing but its domain is from Indian based
India.
commercial site. So ac.uk, that means academic site dot uk. So it all depends upon again their host name preferences. Okay, so this is one of the examples for that. So now we have three different teams: development team, QATA team, and the testing team. What these all these teams has its own roles and responsibilities. All the three teams have their own individual roles and responsibilities in developing or in delivering a product. Delivering a product. Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk about this side. So BA, what would be the BA team doing is they would be giving the requirements to the development team. BA team would be giving the requirements to uh, the business team, not so business team. Okay, business team would be giving the requirements to the dev team. Like, yeah, if you launch the home page, in the home page you need to have the find a course button, apply today button. Like there should be four menus: courses, where to study, study with us. So these all should be there. These requirements, these requirements uh, business team would be giving to the development team. Okay, so
Okay.
based on that, development team will go ahead and develop the
Code.
application.
Okay.
The moment we say develop the application is nothing but they go ahead and code the code development, right? Develop the
Yes.
application. What they will use in order to develop the application, they will basically use the code. Okay, and
Okay.
now let's say developer, for example, we have one let's take an example of one scenario. Okay, so business team has given the requirement to development team such that launch the page and these menus should be available. Then you need to click on find a course. If the user clicks on find a course and he gives he enters the business and management, for example. Okay, so all the business and management related filters should be visible to the user. Okay, the moment we click on here, business and management, this is actually one of the requirements. If it should be all the respective or related filters should be visible to the users. After that, you need
Okay.
to click on here. If the user selects one of the right business and management courses and clicks on search, okay, if you scroll down to the bottom, user, so this is the parent degree, I mean parent course, business and management courses. Okay, under it
Okay.
we may have different all other course which are the part of business and management course. For example, if you look here, BA honors business finance, BA honors business human resource, so BA honors business marketing. So we have plenty of again sub courses over here. Okay, so you need to click on view course. Example, if you click on view course, user should be redirected to this page. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
So the moment if we click on after searching for business and management course, when if we click on view course, we would be redirected to this particular page. Whereas if user wants to make an inquiry, that means so make it basically every every flow has its own functionality, right? So here what the make an inquiry, that what does this functionality means is For example, if student logs into the application, he want to make an inquiry of the particular course, like the duration, course fee, and the class subjects involved in this particular course. So if we want to make an inquiry of the particular subject, so here in our example, what is the subject we are making an inquiry as a student? Business finance, right? So we are actually
Yes.
making an inquiry of this particular course. So the moment we click on make an inquiry, right? Again, a form would be opened. Course inquiry form would be open. Here, here we would be entering our basic data. Okay. First name, last name. Okay. So for example, this one. So if you observe on this particular page, if you observe the one which you are seeing with the star marks, right? What does that mean?
Mandatory.
These all are the
Mandatory
mandatory
fields.
fields. So if you doesn't fill the mandatory field and click on the submit inquiry, the form would not be submitted because you haven't given the contact number and the last name. So that is the reason they are getting highlighted in red color. Okay, those are highlighting in red.
Okay.
So then again we'll cross check and we will provide the username, last name and the contact number. And then see course inquiry, business finance top up BA honors. Okay. So this is actually the course name we are looking into. And observe the course name is very dynamic. So whatever the course name we select here, that would be visible over here. If you select another course name here, different course name, that particular course name should be visible. So these are also the things we need to cover as part of our manual testing. When we are doing a manual testing, right, these things also should be covered, like whether
Okay.
the our test case could be something in a way that verify our yeah, our test case could be in such a way that we can cover in such a way that verify whether the course we selected and the course that is displayed on the course and query page are the same or not. This is one of the validation point. Okay.
Okay.
So it is of no use, right? If we select one course and the moment we click on view course and click on make an inquiry button, if this particular form is getting opened, whereas it is showing another other. So for example, here we have selected business finance, but if we are it is showing as some computer science or something like that, then it doesn't make any sense. So all these validations we need to keep in our mind when we are testing the application manually. You are getting it right?
Yes.
Yeah. So after that, so for example, yeah, I have entered all the mandatory fields now, and I'm just clicking on the submit enquiry. The moment I click on submit enquiry, okay, it has actually given the success message like thank you, Kane. Okay, did it took Kane or did we give David Warner, right? It should throw the first
David Warner.
David Warner, but why did it give Kane? I think in the last moment did it got changed. Actually, here it should be the first name. For example, in the previous form, right? If you gave the first name as David, and for example, here it is displaying as Kane, that is actually the bug. We can consider it as a bug or defect.
Okay.
You are getting it right. Here, actually, it should give us
Yeah.
the first name, which where this first name would be populated, because in the previous page before you submit, right, it will
Hmm.
actually read all the data from and it will store somewhere in the buffer. and the moment you click on submit inquiry, it should redirect, it has redirected us to this page, and here thank you first name, thank you first name should be displayed here. So that is again also the one of the validation points you are getting, right? So
Yes.
in one particular flow, for make an inquiry flow, we are getting some scenarios, test scenarios. So basically these are all called as the test scenarios. Okay.
Okay.
So, and yeah, thank you. You have just taken the first step towards starting with your journey, Arden University, and getting the career you want with your BA honors. So again, one more validation point here is whether we are getting thank you message or not. That is one thing. Whether the first name is displayed correctly on this particular page or not. That is one thing. And here also, the course, is it populating the course we are actually selecting in the previous pages, or else is it displaying another course apart from the one which we are selecting? So these all things we can cover as part of our test scenarios. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is one end-to-end, for example, this is one flow, Prasad. Okay. Uh, this is one of the flows as part of this particular university application. Okay. So
Okay.
all these
Okay.
things, like, the thank you message should be displayed, and here first name should be displayed, and the thank you message should be this particular thing. So the same statement. So all these requirements who would be giving is the business team.
Yeah.
Business team will just design, just tell the requirements to the development team, whereas the development team will go ahead and develop the application based on the inputs given by the business team. Okay. So for example, let's say business team has actually given the inputs. So yeah, the flow should be like this. And for example, development team has now actually developed the application. Now, so what these guys would be doing is, these people will actually, once the development is completed from their end, they will actually give the application, or they will actually uh, what do we say, dump the code from one environment to another environment. So from dev environment to test environment, they would be, for example, dev environment means, for example, arden dot dev dot ac dot uk. So development team will develop the application in this particular URL. Okay, for their test purpose. So they will
Okay.
develop it, they will do unit testing, and once they are after performing development and unit testing, right, if they feel that okay, we have completed our development from our end, so if you navigate to this particular URL ac.arden.dev, so for example, I'm saying because there would be for definitely there would be some of the domain names here, I mean environment name here. So basically we would be calling it as an environment team dev. Okay. So
Okay.
here what they would be doing after they confirm from
Develop.
their end that yeah, okay, we have developed the application, and we have completed our unit testing. Now it's time to dump that particular thing into the test environment. So how the test environment would be means, arden dot some test dot ac dot uk. For example, I'm saying the, and it is again, it is not same in all the companies, but in some companies it would be arden.test.uk, arden.uat sit sit.ac.uk. Okay.
SIT in the sense?
System integration testing.
Okay. That is also like system testing.
Yeah, that is also nothing but normal testing, but in sit, usually we call it as in sit environment. We are testing in sit environment, something like that. Okay. And
Testing in
we would be
testing environment.
yeah, testing environment. Yes. UAT also would be there, user acceptance testing. Okay.
Okay.
So let's speak about these in detail. But for now, yeah, you understood, right? For now, for example, these completed their development from their end and they'll dump to the code to the test team. For example, Arden.test or Arden.sit. Then once the code has been deployed to come to our end, then what we would be doing, we would be actually uh, testing all these scenarios. Okay, we would be testing all these scenarios from our end. So whether this particular flow is working properly or not, and it is taking mandatory fields. What if we are trying to save the form without giving the uh, mandatory fields? Is it throwing an error or not? So these all are the validations we need to do as part of our manual testing activities. So once we finish with our manual testing activity, right, we'll go ahead and tell that, okay, we have tested it, and we'll go ahead and tell the business teams and development teams saying that, okay, we have completed our testing from our end. Then after that, this particular code would be dumped into the production environment. So for example,
Okay.
production means actually this is it. This is the live environment. Okay, this is actually live environment which we are using now. So live environment is also nothing but the production environment. That means it is already in place. So literally, if you enter proper details and save and make an inquiry for any particular course, they will definitely call you. But please don't do that. Okay, this is actually the live site. Unnecessarily, some data would be created in their database, and they'll again come back to us. You will definitely get a call from Berlin or UK. So that is the reason
Okay.
for the demo purpose, I have actually given the random names and the random mobile number. Okay, if not, they will definitely call us. So just for practice purpose, I have just showed you to understand what is meant by what. So okay, so this is about three teams and their
Okay.
activities. Okay. Now moving on to manual versus automation and its tools and dev tools. Okay. So manual is nothing but, so whatever the flow we would be doing with manual interaction, that is actually comes under the manual testing. Whereas in automation testing, we would be using some sort of tools like Selenium. Okay. In automation tools, we would be using Selenium, QTP, and also, yeah, we have got the new tool like Tosca. Okay. So Tosca is basically the licensed tool. It is also, Tosca is also used to automate the web application, but it is a licensed tool. It is a scriptless but licensed tool. Okay. Scriptless means there would be no coding,
Okay.
no coding required for the Tosca. Okay. And it is easy to develop the scripts in Tosca. But the thing is, most of the companies will not be using Tosca since it is a licensed tool. Only some sort of major clients would be using, if they are in a position to pay for this tool. So Tosca is actually developed by the Tricentis. Okay, Tricentis team. So we need to pay if the companies want to develop the applications in so the flow which we are seeing, right? So that same flow we can do with the Selenium and also the Tosca. But the thing is, Selenium is script code. If Selenium maintains script, that means coding, and it is not a licensed tool. It is a free tool. Whereas moving to Tosca, it is scriptless, but it is a licensed tool.
Okay.
Okay.
What
So
about QTP?
yeah, QTP is again script-based code, and the QTP is again the licensed. So most of the people would not be using QTP. It is yeah, QTP era is gone now. So now
Okay.
the trending is Selenium and also the Tosca. Okay,
That's
Tosca is, yeah, actually it came newly evolved. Okay,
okay.
we have a market for Tosca as well and
Mm.
Selenium as well. Both, but Selenium, yeah, most of the companies will be using Selenium only because it is a free tool.
Free. Yes.
Yeah, so that is the reason.
Okay.
Yeah, just a moment. So here, if you see, so dev team will develop the web application. So there could be other applications such as Salesforce and Oracle. Since these are also the web application, so we can automate any sort of application with Selenium, whether it could be web application, whether it could be Salesforce based application. See, even though it is a Salesforce, it is again it will again have the URL and all, just like the web application only. Same thing goes with the Oracle. So if we learn how to automate the things using Selenium, then we can automate any sort of normal web application or Salesforce or Oracle. We can do anything. Okay. And in order to develop the web application, maybe you heard about some of the development tools such as Spring Boot, Pega, JavaScript. So developers would be using these tools in order to develop the application. Develop is nothing but, so for example, here this thing should be there, this button should be there. If you click on that, form should be opened. If you fill on that form and click on submit inquiry, then it should pick all the details and store them back. So all these logics, internal logics would be whom it would be given by the development team only, right? So basically they would be using these tools, Spring Boot, Pega, and the JavaScript in order to develop their web applications. When it comes to QATA, so I already told you QATA, QA tester, test team, testing, these all names are referred for the QA team only. So these are the different environments: dev, UAT, stage, test. Stage also one of the pre-production kind of environment. Lower and higher. We would be having lower and higher environment. We will discuss it. Okay, going forward. See, development team will develop the application using these technologies: Spring Boot, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, jQuery. Okay.
Okay.
Testing, what they will do, they will test the applications or manually or using automation. So they can test the application in two ways: either manually, or they can use the automation scripting as well for that.
Okay.
So manual testing or versus automation testing. So manual testing is actually, it will not use script or code, whereas in
Hello.
automation testing, whereas in automation,
Hello.
yeah, Prasad, tell me,
I'm unable to hear your voice.
is it okay now,
Hello.
Prasad? Hello, hello.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now he's audible.
Yeah, I think it's a network issue from your end, Prasad, if I'm not wrong.
Is it?
Yeah,
Um, okay. I will.
because
I will.
because whenever you are talking, right, your voice
Mm.
is actually something glitch kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, now it's better. Shall I move? Shall I go forward?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So Selenium, it's an open source tool, nothing but the a free tool. So Selenium, as I already told you, Selenium will not go as an individual tool. Okay, it makes use of one of the programming languages, either Java, Python, C Sharp. So it uses one of the programming languages, Selenium plus any other programming language. That is what makes the that is what helps the users to automate their applications easily. So basically, as part of our tutorial, you already know, as part of our trainings, we would be going through Selenium Java. So for this also, we need to start off with Java first, and then we need to move to Selenium. Since if you don't have any background knowledge on Java, you cannot move further with the Selenium. And in most of the interview questions also, once you get experienced after 2 years, 3 years, right, the questions they would be asking would be mostly based on the Java first. Okay, then they will move on to Selenium. So for example, if they ask you 20 questions, out of 20, 10 would be from Java, 10 would be from Selenium mostly. Okay. And they will ask you what is your preferred language for the automation. So if you the moment you say Java, right, they would be asking you the questions on Java, and then later they would move to Selenium. Okay. And Tosca, as we discussed, it is actually the licensed tool. Okay. So BA teams, business analyst provides the requirements to the devs, and based on that, the developers will go ahead and develop the application. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So now product based, we spoke about first two topics, product based and service based companies. Okay. So product based company, service based company means, see, for example, let's take about, so basically Infosys, TCS, all these are the service based company. That means they are actually the IT companies. Okay, they are actually the IT companies which deliver the development or testing activities, or they'll outsource the development and testing activities to some other companies. Am I right? So for product based companies, let's talk about product based companies first. In the product based companies, they have their own product. Okay, for example, let's take an example of the Naukri site. We have a job searching site, right? Naukri. Whereas Naukri application would be used by two different people. One is the resources who are searching for a new job, and the HRs would be checking the Naukri. So HRs will have some sort of requirements in their companies, so they will try to filter out the uh, uh, profiles based on their requirement. So Naukri site would be used by the two people. One is the folks who are looking for a job change, and the HRs would be going through the profiles of these folks who are getting for a new job. So that is actually the platform where the two different people will interact, and it will sort their needs, right? So if a particular company, let's say Naukri, so Naukri site would be developed by, for example, Naukri, for example, X, there is a company X. X company is the owner of the Naukri site, and the company X would be working only on this particular Naukri site only. So they develop they develop the Naukri site. And for example, on a day-to-day basis, we would be seeing some updates, right? So we would be getting some new enhancement based on the requirements. For example, okay, if they think that, okay, if we put up this new feature, and that would be really good that would really help for the HRs to filter out their profiles more easily. So if they want to come up with their enhancement, so again, the resources or the employees who would be working on the company X would be working only on the Naukri site only, because Naukri is its own. The owner of the Naukri product is the X only. So product based companies would be working on their own products. They will not work, they will not outsource for any other companies. So whereas moving on to the service based companies, so for
Like
example,
Wipro?
sorry,
No, Wipro also product-based company, right?
hello,
Hello?
your
Yeah,
voice,
Akhil, yeah, am I audible?
you are audible, but your voice is not clear, Prasad.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, tell me now.
I'm texting you. Yeah, Wipro also product-based company, right?
Wipro, I think it will also deliver some sort of. Yeah. See, some companies may have own products as well. They have their own products and they will deliver. For example, take an example of Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo. It is actually one of the. It is actually one of the prominent bank in US. Okay, Wells Fargo. Can you hear my voice, Prasad?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
Wells,
hearing you.
yeah. Wells Fargo is one of the prominent bank in the United States. So whereas in Wells Fargo, they would be working on their own banking application, and apart from that, if they got the new other projects from any other firm, they would take it and they will also deliver. You're getting it right. So if Wells Fargo works on only their banking application, so that is called as a product based company. So whereas if they deliver their solutions to other companies also, so that is not we cannot say that it is a product based company. It is actually the service based company.
Okay.
Okay, so in service based company, what happens means, for example, let's say Y is an IT firm. Okay, for example, let's talk about TCS. TCS is actually an IT firm, whereas TCS would hire the folks who are prominent in development, who are prominent in testing, some these two departments, and business also. Okay, and now we have, for example, Z is one university. Z is not an IT company. Z is actually a university. Okay, so these university people will tie up with these IT firms and they will provide all the requirements. So they will requirements to the IT company such a way that okay, our this site should look like this. Our site should have the make an inquiry functionality, apply today functionalities. Our so these all the requirements would be given to the TCS development and testing teams by the university people. So these both will tie up. Okay, so Y plus Z, they will tie up with some if the Y service based company TCS comes up with TCS ties up with the academic site Z academic I mean university, then they would be dealing with the academic applications. So if they tie up with e-commerce site, e-commerce in the sense uh, if they are selling in if they are selling the
Amazon.
Amazon or Flipkart. So these all are the e-commerce site. So if they tie up with some e-commerce site, right, then yeah, they can, so these they can tie up with any based on their requirements. So some automobile industry, for example, Tesla will come to the TCS and say that okay, you perform development in order to sell in order to buy the cars or services oriented. So they will maintain, however, these automobile industries will maintain their own applications, right? So they will come to this company Y. Company Y is actually the IT firm, whereas Z2 is actually the not the IT industry, it is actually the automobile industry. Okay, so they'll tie up, both will tie up. Whereas if you observe in these automobile industry also, they will maintain their own development and business and test teams, but not in a big huge numbers. Okay, they'll maintain the resources but in a very less. So both of the people will coordinate, the people, the folks in Y and the folks development folks in Y, development folks in Z2, they'll both coordinate and they'll work on the application. When it comes to testing, the folks in Y and the folks in Z2, they will both work together and they will test and deliver the application. So that is how the things will happen. Whereas the management of Z2 will pay for them, since the company Y is delivering the IT services to these, right? So we have a concept called billing. We have a concept called billing. So for example, for 1 hour, they will pay $20. Okay. So usually this is the average thing. So since the TCS, for each resource of TCS, for example, we have two resources, okay, one development person and one test team who are delivering, who are working for, who are as part of the TCS, which is company Y, but they are actually working to Z2 client. When they ask you, see, if you ask me what is my company, I say Prolifix. What is the client you are working on? I will say McKesson, because McKesson is our client. So here McKesson is nothing but Z2, our client. We are working for McKesson. McKesson people or the Tesla people will pay to Y. For example, for each person, 1 hour 20. That means for 8 hours, how much per day? It would be 8 hours, right? For 8 hours, they would
Yes.
pay 160.
160.
So 160 into, we would be having 21 working days, excluding Saturdays or Sundays and holidays and 21. So
Yes.
into, for average, keep it 70 per dollar. Okay.
Yes.
How much it will happen? I'm just calculating. 160 into
160 into 21.
into 70. That means 2.35. 2,35,000 they will pay
Per day.
per month.
Okay, per month.
See, 160, yeah, per month, each folks, అంటే ఈ కంపెనీకి for each person, the client would pay to our company. For example, Tesla will pay to TCS for each person this much, but our packages would be around 4 per year, yearly 4, 5, something like that, but monthly that will. So this is again the dark side of the industry, but I'm just
Yes.
sharing with you in person. Just you need
Okay.
to have the idea on that. So based for that, I am just sharing you. Okay.
Okay.
Now you understood it, right? So service-based
Yes.
company will tie up with other people, and yeah. So the folks who are working in the service-based company, they would be getting opportunities on to work on different kinds of application. So for example, if our company, yeah, if our company ties up with some academic or university site, then we would be working on university, and by default we will get an idea of, okay, so what would be the functionality for the university sites, correct? If we
Yes.
work on the e-commerce, then we can know about their business. Okay, what are the navigation links they will have, and what kind of business they do, and what are the new features they are actually working on. So I'm not degrading the product-based companies though, but still the work would be more, work pressure would be, or the opportunities will get would be more for the service-based companies. Okay, so this is how the types of industries we would be working on. Academic and university, you know it. Pharma means, for example, if MedPlus or the Apollo pharmacy person comes to TCS, and if it ties up with TCS saying that, okay, we want to maintain one retail, so retail type of application, that means if they want to sell their pharma products on one on the retail platform, they'll again tie up and they'll say the features, and whereas TCS people will go ahead and do that. So yeah, they would be having all those mortgage.
Launch.
Mortgage, do you know what is meant by mortgage?
Yes,
So
yes, loan.
yeah, automobile, e-commerce, mass media. So there would be having mass media companies as well, where I have even I have worked for the mass media application. So they would be having two things, okay, print and digital advertisement. So for example, let's say, mm, for example, let's take an example of one magazine. Okay, there is a magazine called
Okay.
as Condé Nast. Okay,
Continue. Okay.
let's say it is a weekly magazine. Okay, so if user wants to print the advertisement, okay, for example, tomorrow is your birthday, Prasad. Okay, let's take an example that tomorrow is your birthday, and yeah, as part of weekly magazine, right, uh, the paper would be distributing its weekly as part of weekly magazine tomorrow, and I want to wish you, I want you your birthday wish on the first page of that particular Condé Nast weekly magazine. Okay, for that they will charge us, right? They will
Yes.
charge us. So if you want to book, so print is nothing but paper. If you want to make an advertisement, or we want to convey any wishes or some sort of message, we need to book it, correct? We want to book the first page or second page, or in the first page the whole page, or else the, it will have actually the height and width. Okay, for example, if we, let's say this is the complete front page, if we want to book top left or else top right, so the application will have all those features, how we want to book, or in the middle of the page, top right, left corner, something like that. So that comes under the mass media. You are getting it,
Okay.
right?
Yes, yes.
When it comes to digital advertisement, you know, so how we would be seeing in the televisions, so they will charge on this time basis. So if the advertisement goes on for 10 seconds, they will charge as per those 10 seconds. 15 seconds,
Okay.
they'll charge for 15 seconds. You are clear, right, on that part?
Yeah, I'm clear. I'm clear.
Yeah. So this is about Prasad, just give me a minute, okay?
Okay.
I'm getting one call. Yeah, Prasad. So
Yes.
this is about that thing. But today I wonder why we didn't got that 40-minute one. So
Maybe I don't know. Actually, I'm expecting that one.
yeah, it is not actually
Yes.
yeah, but that's fine, not a problem. Okay. So now moving on to the other topic, okay, which is
Hmm.
what is manual testing and why manual testing, types or different levels of manual testing. So moving on to the manual testing, okay, so it is actually a type of software testing in which test cases are executed manually, by a tester without using any automated tools. Okay,
Okay.
manual testing is basically where a tester goes ahead and logs into the application, tests based on the test cases. So any manual tester will not test just like that. They will for sure they will draft the test cases or the test scenarios, we call it as. They will first should draft the test cases and they will test based on the those test cases, and after that they will mark it as whether passed or failed. One example is that, okay, just now we have discussed about that tool, this one, right, this flow.
Website.
Okay, one test case could be verify whether the first name is visible on the registration success page. Okay, first name. So for that, what we need to do, we need to
Okay.
log into application, click on find a course, search for a course, click on view course, click and make an inquiry, and then we need to submit the form and then come over here and verify whether, okay, first name is displayed or not. That could be one of the scenarios, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be one of the scenarios. So the moment they say the moment they say here, which test cases are executed manually, this could be one of the test cases. They cannot execute, they will ensure that the test cases are executed manually. Okay. The other thing is, the purpose of manual testing is to identify the bugs, issues, and defects in the software application. So the main thing is to identify the bugs, issues, and defects. Nothing but all are same. Bugs, issues, and defects all are the same. But the primary agenda, the main agenda, or the ultimate goal of a manual tester is to identify the bugs or issues
Bug.
in order to ensure that before actually dumping the code to the production environment or live environment, they need to ensure that an application should be an error free. Correct?
Yes.
So yeah, you need to understand that 100% automation is not possible. That is also one thing. Okay. Whereas some scenarios we would be having, we cannot automate. For example, so again, manual testers, for example, for this make an inquiry form, let's say the manual tester has created 10 test cases, whereas automation tester will get the 10 test cases from home manual testers, and they will understand the flow again. They will start coding that, they'll start automating it. So out of 10, not all the 10 would be possible or feasible. We can say that not all the 10 may not be feasible. Sometimes it would be feasible, sometimes it not be feasible. One such case would be, for example, out of those 10 test cases, if the manual tester has drafted a test case in such a way that verify that the color code, for example, there is a color code option. Okay. Verify the color of the thank you message should be in green. That is, let's say out of those 10, one test case is that one. So using Selenium automation, we cannot test that with the color codes, whether it is green or not, because it uses some of the CSS properties. Okay, so that one simply, out of the 10 test cases, we can mark that the test case simply as a not feasible. We can mark that simply as not feasible. Okay.
Okay. Not feasible in the sense like it's not reached the like it's not like as a test case, right?
Yeah, it is not possible to automate. Not feasible is nothing but it is not possible to automate. That's it. So that is the reason, if you see on the screen the highlighted one, 100% automation is not possible.
Okay.
Okay. And any new application must be manually tested before its testing can be automated. Okay. This is also one important thing. So once the manual tester completes his testing from his end, then only the automation he should start automate, because without knowing the actual functionality, how can we automate? If we know the manual process, then only we can automate. Okay, manual process is nothing but in order to register for this make an inquiry. If we know the flow manually, then only we can automate it based on the flow, right?
Yes.
If we
Akhil,
yeah.
సో మనకి ఈ టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ అన్ని కూడా ఒక యాజ్ ఏ మనం టెస్ట్ గా రాసుకోవాలా, లేకపోతే ఆల్రెడీ మనకి బిజినెస్ టీమ్ నుంచి గైడెన్స్ వస్తుంది కదా డెవలపర్స్ కి?
Yeah. I will tell you how we can what is the process need to be followed. Okay.
Okay.
That would be covered as part of which class? Drafting test cases.
సో ఇందులో ఏదైనా ప్రాజెక్ట్ కూడా చూపిస్తారా?
Yeah, we'll try this demo site. Okay. ఈ డెమో సైట్ పైనే మనం టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ ఎట్లా రాయాలో చూస్తాము, అండ్ ఈ డెమో సైట్ పైనే మనం ఒకటి రియల్ టైంలో సినారియో ఆటోమేట్ చేస్తాము, HTML రిపోర్ట్స్ అలా అంత ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్ తో సహా మేము చేపిస్తాం. దట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఎ ప్రాబ్లం. You can actually, if you get prominent in using that framework, right, you can actually go ahead and tell that same అదే ఉంటది. So you can tell that okay, I have worked on this from past 1 year or 2 year on బట్టి చెప్పుకోవడమే ఇంకా. Okay. And I can assure you that
మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి చెప్పరా?
See, ఇప్పుడు
వాయిస్ కట్ అయింది.
ఇప్పుడు మాన్యువల్ టెస్టింగ్ ది ఆటోమేషన్ క్లాసెస్ జావా తర్వాత సెలీనియం క్లాసెస్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత ఒక ఫ్రేమ్ వర్క్ ఉంటుంది. లాస్ట్ కి నేను ఒక ఫ్రేమ్ వర్క్ ఇస్తా అండ్ ఆ ఫ్రేమ్ వర్క్ ని నేను మొత్తం ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తా. ఓకే,
ఓకే.
సో ఇఫ్ యు సీ హియర్ it would be covering. So in 45, integrating the test case into framework అని ఉంది కదా. సో ఐ విల్ టెల్ యూ వాట్ ఈస్ మీన్ బై ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్ అండ్ హౌ వీ కెన్ ఇంటిగ్రేట్ అయితే అసలు ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్ అంటే ఏంటి అని ఈ క్లాస్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత యూ వుడ్ బి ఇన్ ఎ పొజిషన్ టు టెల్ దట్ ఐ హ్యావ్ వర్క్డ్ ఆన్, ఐ హ్యావ్ థరో నాలెడ్జ్ ఆన్ ది ఆటోమేషన్. You would be in a position that I can assure. You don't worry about that. Okay.
ఓకే. ఓకే.
So
ఓకే.
after the end of 45th class, right? So for sure, I can assure you that you will get an experience like 1.5 to 2 years person. That one for sure. I can
Okay.
assure that. Yeah. Because you would be knowing all the concepts where interviewer will ask. I can assure that. I can give you the glance on those particular things. Okay, I will tell you how we need to do it. Okay, for now you
Okay.
don't worry. Once we are done with our complete training part, right, I will tell you how you need to what are the types of questions you would be facing with, because I am just noting down the interview questions also. So I would be giving the interview, right? So once the interview is complete from my end, I will write down that question so that it will be helpful for me and for the folks who are joining for the sessions as well. So that
Okay.
is how I have planned. Okay.
ఓకే, డన్.
Yeah. So this is about the manual testing. Okay. So yeah. So levels of manual testing would be
సో
so we have a different levels of manual testing, Prasad. Okay. One.
Okay.
So one is nothing but unit testing. So these are the different levels. The moment they say levels, right, it will start from one level, means we have higher to lower level, something like that, or start to the end. We would be having different levels, right? So level hierarchy. So we would be having unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. Okay.
Okay.
Unit testing, integration testing,
testing,
system
system
testing, and
acceptance
acceptance testing. So these are actually the levels of testing, and the person who is performing these activities. Unit testing is performed by different person, integration testing would be performed by some other person, system testing would be performed by one person, acceptance testing. So every person would be different. So at different levels, application would be tested by different people, and based on that they will give the name as unit integration, something like that. So as we discussed, development team will develop the application, and before they are handing overing to the QA/TA team to test the application more thoroughly, the development folks will perform some sort of testing which is called as the unit testing. So unit testing is actually performed by the developers from their end in order to ensure that the code they have developed is working properly or not. But on a high level, they will not maintain all the scenarios just like how the test team will do, but they will test the code on their high level.
Okay,
Without
whether the
a
code
term,
is running or not. That's it, right?
రైట్. అంటే కొన్ని ఫీచర్స్ కనబడుతున్నాయా లేవా, అప్లికేషన్ సబ్మిట్ అవుతుందా లేదా, బట్ మ్యాండేటరీ ఫీల్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయా లేవా, ఫస్ట్ నేమ్ అది ఇది ఎక్కువ చెక్ చేయరు. దే విల్ చెక్ ఇట్, బట్ దే విల్ నాట్ టెస్ట్ దట్ మచ్ డీప్.
Okay.
They will not test that. So this is actually the first level of testing, because development teams are kada starting develop chesedi. So unit testing is actually performed by the developers. So then coming to integration, see, checks if the software components are fulfilling the functionalities or not. Unit testing. Integration testing checks the data flow from one module. So integration testing performed by actually the manual testers. Okay, for example మనకి ఒక రెండు డిఫరెంట్, ఇప్పుడు 2 డిఫరెంట్ అప్లికేషన్స్ ఉన్నాయనుకో. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ కస్టమర్ క్రియేషన్ ఏమో ఒక అప్లికేషన్‌లో జరుగుతది, రిజిస్ట్రేషన్. దాని తర్వాత ఇంకో అప్లికేషన్‌లోనేమో ఆ రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ నంబర్‌ని బేస్ చేసుకొని మనం లాగిన్ అయ్యి ఏదైనా ఆర్డర్ ప్లేస్ చేయాలి అనుకో. ఓకే. సో ఏ అప్లికేషన్ ఏలో లైక్ http arden.registration.uk, ఇంకోటి order.uk అని ఉందనుకో. సో రిజిస్ట్రేషన్లోకి వెళ్ళి మనం రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ చేసుకుంటాం, ఒక యూనిక్ ఐడి క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది. సో ఐడిని మనం కాపీ చేసుకొని దట్ వుడ్ బి అవర్ యూజర్ నేమ్. విల్ గో అహెడ్ అండ్ అప్లికేషన్ బి అనేది యాక్చువల్లీ ఆర్డర్ ప్లేస్ చేసే అప్లికేషన్ అనుకో. అక్కడ మనం ఇస్తే అది రికగ్నైజ్ చేస్తే దట్ బోత్ వీ కెన్ సే దట్ బోత్ సిస్టమ్స్ ఆర్ ఇంటిగ్రేటెడ్. ఐ రైట్? సో అక్కడ క్రియేట్ అయింది, మనం ఇది ఐడెంటిఫై చేస్తుంది అంతే. యాక్చువల్లీ డెవలపర్స్ దాన్ని అలా బిల్డ్ చేశారనమాట. సో ఈ ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ 2 డిఫరెంట్ సిస్టమ్స్ ని ఇంటిగ్రేటెడ్ డేటా ఫ్లో కరెక్ట్ అవుతుందా లేదా, చెక్స్ ద డేటా ఫ్లో ఫ్రమ్ వన్ మాడ్యూల్ టు అనదర్ మాడ్యూల్. సో అది దట్ కమ్స్ అండర్ ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ టెస్టింగ్. ఓకే. సిస్టమ్ టెస్టింగ్. సో సిస్టమ్ టెస్టింగ్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ మనం అప్పటి నుంచి డిస్కస్ చేస్తుంది యాక్చువల్లీ సిస్టమ్ టెస్టింగ్. మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది టెస్టర్స్ విల్ డూ దట్ సిస్టమ్ టెస్టింగ్ ఓన్లీ. మాన్యువల్ టెస్టర్స్ లైక్ సినారియోస్ రాసుకొని మనం అప్లికేషన్ పైన, ఇప్పుడు ఏదైతే మనం arden.ac.co పైన వర్క్ చేస్తున్నామో, సో సారీ యూకే పైన వర్క్ చేస్తున్నామో, దట్ ఈస్ యాక్చువల్లీ కమ్స్ అండర్ ద సిస్టమ్ టెస్టింగ్. ఎవాల్యుయేట్స్ బోత్ ఫంక్షనల్ అండ్ నాన్ ఫంక్షనల్ నీడ్స్ ఫర్ ద టెస్టింగ్. నాన్ ఫంక్షనల్ నీడ్స్ అంటే ఏం లేదు, అంటే నెగిటివ్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ టెస్టింగ్ అన్నట్టు. ఓకే, లైక్ మ్యాండేటరీ ఫీల్డ్స్ వర్క్ అవుతున్నాయా లేవా. సో యాక్చువల్ ఇప్పుడు మనం చూసింది యాక్చువల్లీ ద హ్యాపీ పాత్. హ్యాపీ పాత్ వచ్చేసి ఏంటి అంటే విల్ కాల్ ఇట్ యాజ్ హ్యాపీ పాత్. ఇట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ లాగిన్ అయ్యి ఆ బటన్ పైన క్లిక్ చేసి అంతా రిజిస్టర్ అవుతుందో అది హ్యాపీ పాత్. సో నెగిటివ్ సినారియోస్ అంటే మ్యాండేటరీ ఫీల్డ్స్ వస్తున్నాయా లేవా, లేకపోతే మనం ఏదైనా స్పెషల్ క్యారెక్టర్స్ ఇచ్చి క్లిక్ చేస్తున్నామా లేదా, ఈమెయిల్ ఐడిలో @ ఇవ్వకుండా జస్ట్ ఈమెయిల్ ఐడి కూడా నేమ్ లాగా టైప్ చేసి సేవ్ చేస్తుంటే. సో దీస్ ఆల్ కమ్స్ అండర్ ది నెగిటివ్ ఫ్లోస్. సో ఇప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ టైం అనేది ఇట్ షుడ్ యాక్చువల్లీ ఓన్లీ ది క్యారెక్టర్స్, బట్ వాట్ ఇఫ్ వి ప్రొవైడ్ ది నంబర్స్ ఆర్ స్పెషల్ క్యారెక్టర్స్, will it accept? It should not accept, right?
Yes.
So those all things we need to test as part of our system testing, functional and non-functional requirements.
Okay.
So acceptance testing, when we would be performing this acceptance testing means, for example, let's say usually how the things would be, after the manual or functional tester completes his testing from his end, so before actual, so university site is there, before it is actually goes to the production environment, there would be some sort of pre-production testing activities. Okay, we'll call it as pre-production testing activities. So in pre-production testing activities, what they are going to do means, so this acceptance testing is actually is a part of a pre-production testing activity. So the actual users would be testing, the actual users or end customers who are using that application would be actually testing that application, and they'll accept, saying that okay, it has met all our requirements. So once they confirm, so for example, who are going to use the academic site? Students, right? So what the university people will do is, so as part of acceptance testing, some university professors and students, some 5 to 10 people. They'll identify 5 students and 5 professors. So these both people, 10 folks, 10 people who are actually the users of this application, they will test it as a final trials before they move it to the production environment.
Okay.
And they'll confirm, okay, we have accepted it. If they found some bugs during that time also, they will let the business team and the development team know that, okay, this is not meeting our requirements, so can you please go ahead and update or enhance the code, something like that. Okay,
Okay.
this one is actually tested by the university people or some students, and they will come up, or if everything looks good, then they'll say that, okay, this looks good, you can actually dump the code to the live. Okay. So you can go through all of them. So whatever we have discussed, you can actually go as a theoretical concepts of these as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So alpha, beta, these testing will regression, will cover in the next class. Prasad. Okay.
Okay.
For now, I will dump the code. I will dump the recordings. Okay. Meanwhile, from the third class, from 6th, 7th, 8th, these all, for all this, we have the, let me stop the recording.